All right, so morning grind. It's just us, unless somebody joins us on live right now, which I don't have anybody in the waiting room. So we can go through anything you'd like, but just a couple things that I try to give what's going on in the market and things like that. Good news this morning was that Florida now has 14. We had two more approved, or that they approved us, I guess, insurance companies. So the insurance market, which has been one of the biggest complaints that we've had in Florida, the price of homeowners insurance is stabilizing a bit. um, it's an interesting debate because coming like where I'm from in New Jersey, we're used to property taxes like $18,000 a year. You go northern part of New Jersey, they pay $24,000 a year, so it's like $2,000 a month. So you come down here and you get property taxes for a couple $1,000s, and your homeowner's insurance, even if it's $4,000 or $5,000, when you look at it overall, it's still cheaper. Like my homeowner's insurance in New Jersey was, I don't know, less than $1,000 a year, but you're paying all those property taxes. And for people here and for people thinking a second home or whatever, it's been pricing out of the market. And of course, they had Citizens, which was the government subsidized program, and it just became very, very expensive. For a while, there were a lot of people that could only get Citizens. So it looks like things are stabilizing now, and that should help us a bit. The Fed, of course, did not lower rates. Of course, we have a standoff now between the president basically calling for the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, to resign. He has no control over that, so whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. I am definitely in agreement that interest rates need to come down. I understand the fear of inflation mixed with it, but we haven't had inflation now in 6 months. I mean, it's been lower than expectations. So a slight drop would help us a lot. So that's kind of long and short of what's going on in the real estate market and things like that. What I'm finding just from talking to agents is that single family houses seem to be doing better. Condos, obviously, and townhomes are still struggling. I talked to a friend yesterday and this morning that I had listed his property. And when we listed it, it was slightly high, just enough not to sell, but in the ballpark. By the time the listing agreement ended, he was out of the ballpark because prices had dropped. Yeah. So he's now thinking about it again. He says he's not in a hurry. It's okay. Well, we can do, whatever you want to do. But that's just the condo townhome market right now. It's soft.
So I have three. They want a single home, and then I have one that wants a townhome or condo. He doesn't care, whatever he can get.
The condo right now, if the association works for him, the condo right now puts you in a real position of strength for negotiating. Not that I wouldn't tell somebody to pick a condo over a single family because whatever, but if it does come up that they decide to do a condo, you'll be in a really good place to negotiate because, let's face it, there's, you've seen the one I have listed. I'm lucky to get anybody through the door there other than, like the open house had some people through. And for the people that came through, there's more units for sale than there are people coming through to see them. And right, well, for mine, yeah. And the prices have dropped and dropped and dropped. The average condo right now in Clearwater, last I looked, is selling for $200,000.
I did see some. Yeah.
That's a 2-bedroom, by the way.
Yeah, 2-2. Like he wants a 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was really surprised to see so many available.
There are.
Yeah, Oldsmar, Clearwater,
their radius. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going on. Is just there's more availability. I mean, these are properties that might have been $250,000 a couple of years ago. They've dropped considerably.
Yeah.
240, 235, 240. Yeah, they're dropping considerably. And of course, people aren't lowering their prices for that
Mhm.
because they're still holding on to 2021, 2020, 2021. But the issue with that is that if they truly want to sell, it's probably where they're going to end up.
Yeah, and they have to consider the HOAs, that's why they.
Well, it's the other part of it too, because at the end of the day, it's what are my monthly expenses going to be? This is something that's a really important thing to understand. Is do people care how much they pay for a house? No. What they care about is how much money they have to put down
Mhm.
and how much their monthly payment is. They're the two kickers.
Mhm.
Because if you say to yourself, just use an example, I've got $20,000 for a down payment, let's just say,
Mhm.
and that includes for closing costs and whatever else. And I have a budget of $2,000 to go for my house. They're the two numbers they care about. So when they go to the mortgage person, they're not saying, the mortgage person obviously gives them pre-approval with a hard number on it, but their bottom line is hey, does this work in my 2,000? And they put those numbers together. That was what car dealerships did 40 years ago. That was really smart. Was they started doing financing of cars, because if not, somebody had to come in with cash, and they could only charge so much. Then it was like, well, wait a minute, don't worry, you don't need to come in here with $10,000 back in those days or whatever it was. Come in with $100 a month. Of course, now what's a car payment? It's like $750 a month, which is what a mortgage payment was back then. Yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy, but anyway, that's kind of how that works and how that's going down. Are you starting to make calls yet? Have you gotten into that mode yet, or no?
Well, I have. I'm calling my Sphere of Influence. So
You're going to Sphere of Influence, perfect.
The plan that we came up with is 5 calls
Right.
a day. So
5 conversations. Yep.
Yeah. So I already did one, and then I just checked if I want to send a text. So text counts too.
Yeah, if you text them, as long as you get a response and are having a real estate conversation.
And then I have to make 2 calls on my list for today.
Yeah.
After this.
Good.
But I would like to finish this, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Because I put her information in.
Okay, so I'm going to log off. There's nobody here, so I'm going to log off the live stream. So everybody will be back Monday at 11 o'clock with Step Ahead Bootcamp. We're doing Powerful Listing Conversations 103.